There's a moment in every college athlete's career when the spotlight is brightest. The draft stock is sky high and the money is waiting. But some don't make the jump. They stay for one more season, one more shot at a title, one more year to prove something. And for some, that decision changes everything for the worse. And here's the scary part. Just 1 year can cost an athlete millions. Today, we're looking at the college athletes who should have gone pro sooner. The ones who stayed too long, gambled on their health or hype, and paid the price. From Marcus Latimore to Maurice Clarrett and Johnny Flynn, these are the careers that could have gone very differently. Number 1. Marcus Latimore. Marcus Latimore was the kind of running back you build a franchise around. As a true freshman at South Carolina, he racked up over 1,100 rushing yards with 17 total touchdowns, instantly drawing comparisons to elite NFL backs. His vision, balance, and power weren't just good. They were NFL ready. By the start of his sophomore year, scouts already saw him as a future first-rounder. Then came the injuries. First, a torn ACL and MCL in his left knee. Then, a catastrophic dislocation and nerve damage in his right knee the next season. Just like that, his draft stock collapsed. Latimore still declared hoping for the best, but he slipped to the 4th round and never played a single snap in the NFL. All the talent, all the potential, wasted by staying just a little too long in college. If he had gone pro earlier, before the injuries, his story might have ended with Pro Bowl appearances, not rehab reports. And if that sounds tragic, wait till you hear about the kid who took college football by storm and then got kicked out before he could even build on it. Number 2, Maurice Clarrett. Maurice Clarrett didn't just have a hot start at Ohio State, he had a historic one. As a true freshman in 2002, he rushed for over 1,200 yards and 18 touchdowns, and helped carry the Buckeyes to a national championship. He was physical, instinctive, and had a nose for the end zone. NFL scouts were already salivating, but Clarrett wasn't allowed to go pro. At the time, the NFL's rules required players to be 3 years removed from high school. So instead of cashing in while his stock was sky high, he was forced to wait. And during that wait, it all fell apart. He clashed with coaches, was dismissed from the program, and got caught up in a legal battle with the NFL to enter the draft early and lost. By the time he was finally eligible, he hadn't played football in 2 years. He dropped to the 3rd round, flamed out quickly, and never played a regular season snap. 1 year earlier, he might have been a top 5 pick. Instead, he became a cautionary tale. But the next name on this list? He didn't get caught up in rules. He just ran out of time. Number 3, Johnny Flynn. Johnny Flynn had the kind of college game that made scouts fall hard. At Syracuse, he wasn't just running the offense, he was the offense. Quick off the dribble, fearless in the lane, and vocal like a seasoned leader. After 2 years, he entered the 2009 NBA draft and went 6th overall. 1 pick before Stephen Curry. But here's the thing, Flynn had flaws. His shooting range wasn't reliable, his decision-making could be shaky under pressure, and his finishing wasn't elite. A hip injury his 2nd year in the league made those weaknesses harder to hide. By 2012, he was out of the NBA, just like that. Had he stayed 1 more year, developed that jumper, tightened his playmaking, who knows? He could have been more than just a draft trivia footnote. Instead, he became a case study in talent that wasn't quite ready. But if Flynn left too early, the next guy made the opposite mistake. He stayed for 1 more shot, and it cost him everything. Number 4, Kenny Irons. Kenny Irons had NFL scouts locked in after his junior season at Auburn. He rushed for nearly 1,300 yards, showed breakaway speed, and carried himself like a future first-rounder. The smart money said, declare now. Instead, Irons bet on himself, came back for his senior year, and chased the Heisman. It didn't work out. He got hurt, his production dropped, and the momentum vanished. When draft day came in 2007, he slipped to the 2nd round. And if that wasn't enough, he tore his ACL in his very first preseason game with the Bengals. He never played a single NFL down. Irons had the talent, no question, but the window that would have gotten him paid and protected closed the moment he decided to stay in school. That one decision rewrote his entire career. And speaking of career rewrites, the next player went from Heisman hero to 9th round pick, all because he stuck around just a little too long. 5. Ty Detmer. Ty Detmer's junior season at BYU was nothing short of legendary. He threw for over 5,000 yards, won the Heisman, and shattered dozens of NCAA records. He had the numbers, the arm, and the narrative. His draft stock was peaking, but instead of going pro, Detmer stayed one more year. Maybe it was loyalty, maybe it was unfinished business. Either way, it backfired. BYU wasn't as dominant, Detmer's production dipped, and when he finally entered the NFL draft, the hype had faded. He fell all the way to the 9th round, and while he stuck around the league as a backup for over a decade, he never got close to being a franchise quarterback. 1 year earlier, he might have been a top pick. Instead, he became the poster child for why even a Heisman Trophy doesn't guarantee a future. But if Ty's gamble cost him a role, the next guy's story is worse. He went pro early and still never got to play a single down. 6. Bryce Love. Bryce Love was unstoppable at Stanford. In 2017, he rushed for over 2,000 yards, broke tackles like glass, and had NFL scouts calling him the next big thing. If he'd left that season, he's a second-round pick at worst, maybe late first. But Love stayed one more year, aiming for a degree and maybe a shot at the Heisman. And on the final play of his college career, he tore his ACL. Just like that, everything changed. He dropped to the 4th round in the 2019 draft, signed with Washington, and spent 2 seasons battling complications from that injury. He never took a single NFL snap, not one. He went pro early enough, but that injury came just in time to ruin what should have been a standout pro career. Timing in his case wasn't just unlucky, it was brutal. 7. Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders wasn't just a college star, he was a phenomenon. In 1988, during his junior year at Oklahoma State, he delivered one of the greatest seasons in football history. Over 2,600 rushing yards, 37 total touchdowns, and the Heisman Trophy to top it off. His agility was unreal, his vision unmatched, and defenders were left grasping at air. It was obvious, this man was NFL ready. But despite the dominance, Sanders stayed an extra year. He still went 3rd overall in the 1989 draft. But that season he held back could have added to his career totals, his longevity, and maybe even his bank account. He retired early as it is. One more year in the league could have meant history rewritten. Barry's career is legendary, no doubt, but even legends sometimes mistime their takeoff. Now let's talk about a lineman so dominant he broke Heisman voting norms, yet still delayed the inevitable and lost precious time at the top. 8. Orlando Pace. From the moment Orlando Pace stepped on Ohio State's field as a true freshman, he looked like an NFL starter. By the end of his college career, he was a 2-time All-American, a Lombardi winner twice, and even finished in the top 4 for the Heisman. As an offensive lineman, that's how dominant he was. Scouts knew, coaches knew, everyone knew. But instead of declaring early, he stayed through his senior year, which did nothing but confirm what was already obvious. He still went number 1 overall in the 1997 draft, but that extra year meant one less NFL contract in his prime, one less season of earning power. He became a Hall of Famer anyway, sure, but his case proves that even when you're at the very top, the decision to wait can still carry a cost. And speaking of quarterbacks who waited, the next guy set records nobody had ever touched, but staying that extra year might have changed everything. 9. Colin Kaepernick at Nevada. Colin Kaepernick did something no quarterback had ever done before. He passed for over 10,000 yards, rushed for more than 4,000, and threw 82 touchdowns while running for 59 more. He was a walking mismatch, a nightmare for defenses, and he didn't just break records, he rewrote the book. But instead of declaring early, Kaepernick played out all 4 years. He said he wanted to finish strong, leave a legacy, go out on his terms, and he did. But when draft day came, he wasn't a first-round pick. He went 36th overall in 2011, and while he eventually exploded onto the NFL scene with the 49ers, that second-round status cost him millions in guaranteed money from day one. And even before the controversy that ended his career, the choice to stay may have shifted everything, financially and otherwise. He had the game, but the timing, that might have been off. 10. Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley had everything lined up after his junior year at USC. Big numbers, national attention, and first-round buzz. Some even projected him as a top 10 pick. But instead of declaring, he stayed for his senior season, hoping to chase a national title. That year fell apart. USC struggled, Barkley got injured, and his draft stock crashed. By the time the 2013 NFL Draft came around, he had fallen all the way to the 4th round. That one decision likely cost him millions and a real shot at being a franchise quarterback. He gambled on legacy and ended up chasing opportunity from the bench. So what do all these stories have in common? Timing. In sports, it's everything. One more year in college can mean more exposure, or it can mean more risk. Injuries, draft drops, missed paydays. Sometimes even a shot at greatness that never comes back. These athletes had the talent. What they lost was the window. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment and let us know. Who do you think should have gone pro sooner? Or who stayed just long enough to get it right? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a drop.